as he slowly meanders his way over to the co-host chair. It is 7 o'clock on the East Coast. We are live. What's going on? The week number 3 preview of the Fantasy Football Stock Report. Yeah, this one. I know there's a lot of signs on the wall.
I'm pointing to the curtain here.
You're pointing to the curtain. It's not curtains yet. Jeez. Big week for us last week for our team, coming off a big win. So we are back to even at 1-1 with had 111 points, second highest in the league, 111.98. Hopefully you guys also had a W this week and are getting right there in the mix of your season. And Nate and I were even talking about before we went live. I mean, the roster we had now, had we had that in week 1 with a few, we'd be 2-0. So hindsight 2020, but it makes a difference that every move you make and everything you decide is important.
Yes,
it's integral to your success. So big week for us also this week, playing going up against the only 2-0 team in our division, and we have to win by more than 20 in order to hold the tiebreaker and take
21.
First place for ourselves. 21, that's right. So
21 at minimum to hold.
21 at minimum, yes. So we're pretty happy with where we are at. Hopefully you are with where you are at. A lot of big matchups this week. A lot of good ones. A couple rough, and some are even one-sided. So a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about going into this week. A lot of injuries also that could shake things up as well. A lot of storylines. So
as usual, the notes are about 50 pages long.
Yeah, okay. Little exaggerated on the number. Not 50 pages. 50 pages.
Okay, so 10.
8. Okay, 8. 8 pages. 50 pages. If I was printing 50 pages, I would be in a full body hoof and wing cast, drinking through a straw.
They have no idea.
No, they don't. I will explain that on ATSD on Friday.
Which I will probably watch that.
Yes. So, anyway, we're still in the non-bye week portion as well. So, there won't be any bye weeks in play, I think, till either next week in week 4 or week 5. So, still, everyone plays, everyone in play. So, let's kick it off with the Thursday night game tomorrow night with the Jets and the Browns this week. Now, when this game probably was first on the schedule, a lot of people probably thought, oh, it's going to be the rookies facing off against each other, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Well, not the case yet because Cleveland has committed to Tyrod Taylor as the starter.
Okay.
That's what Hugh Jackson has said. He said, no, Taylor's our guy. We're not going to start Baker Mayfield yet. I love how it's also – what's funny, and Netflix was just showing this too, they were still saying Tyrod. I don't think people are catching on with the whole Tyrod thing.
Good Morning Football's not.
No. They're still saying Tyrod. Tyrod, like, no.
Well, it's spelled Tyrod.
Right. Y-R-O-D. But it's like, no, it's Tyrod.
Now, was that his?
That was his tweet. That was
that his?
Yes.
Or?
No, he was saying everyone's been pronouncing my name wrong. Yeah.
It took you a year to realize it there, bud?
Tyrod. Oh, I'm sorry. Should we change your last name too? Like Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor is their quarterback.
I can understand it, like when Roethlisberger came
one.
They were saying Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger. No one knew how to pronounce it.
Or when Favre came into the league, they were saying
Brett Faber or Faber.
Favre.
Yeah.
Favre.
Yeah. And on draft now, never forget it. The Atlanta Falcons have drafted Brett Faber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favre. I don't know what nationality that is.
Right.
From. He's American. Of course,
yes.
Like Dutch.
But yeah, like what nationality? Yeah, like what heritage behind that?
Yeah.
That story.
What lineage?
Yeah.
Yes.
So bottom line, aside from pronunciation issues, a lot of storylines. You know, what Sam Darnold are we going to get this week? Can he have that performance he had like in week 1 against Detroit? Or is he going to struggle again like we had in week 2 against a very good Miami defense? You know, he's got the talent there, but they're going to do it. Have to do it against this Browns team that they've played back-to-back heartbreakers They tie the Steelers week 1, and then last week against New Orleans, they come back late, score the touchdown, but then their ex-kicker, Zane Gonzalez, misses an extra point.
Who got fired.
Then misses a chance to win it. Yeah, then misses a chance to win it in overtime. So now their new kicker is Greg Joseph. Exactly, an undrafted free agent. Yeah, don't pick him up in fantasy. But so hopefully they'll have that solved. So because they cut Gonzalez. So a couple guys that I think are obvious plays here in this matchup. The Jets, on the ground, Isaiah Crowell, the former Cleveland Brown, by the way. So kind of getting a kind of revenge game for him against his former team. So I like what he's done. I think you can go with him here. Quincy Enunwa has been like the main target of Sam Darnold. We briefly had him last year when he was healthy. Now, of course, the neck injury was the devastating thing that took him out. But it's nice to see him healthy again. Yeah. He is back, so he is a start. And, of course, also Robbie Anderson, more so in PPR leagues for the receptions. But I think he's an okay play too. From a Browns perspective, Carlos Hyde, you still want to keep going with him at running back. Still a solid play, getting the bulk load of the work there. And David Njoku still the top tight end option for Taylor as well. Yeah. And I'm also going to mention, and they've talked about him on NFL Network too, Antonio Callaway has really come along nicely because you think about it, the Browns now, for those of you who don't know, if you're living under a rock, Josh Gordon is no longer a Cleveland Brown. Yeah, exactly. He's now gone to New England. That's not okay. Yeah. Yeah, not okay. So apparently there was a issue where he showed up late at the team facility. Was battling a hamstring issue. It was really I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of here is, combination of past, present issues, trust issues within the organization. And they couldn't trust him anymore. And so
the word FUBAR.
It fits. It does fit. So
FUBAR of everything.
That's when he knew that he had messed up.
Yeah.
Instead of saying the other words.
That is when he knew that he had bucked up.
Bucked up. No, we'll use bucked up. That works.
Bruh.
So, yeah, bruh. So Antonio Callaway, he's come along nicely. He's shown some lightning in the bottle moments. He had that long touchdown against the Saints last week to tie the game when Tyrod Taylor just unleashed that arm. Cannon, yes. And Jarvis Landry's status is kind of in doubt. He's listed as questionable with a knee injury. So if he's out, Callaway becomes this intriguing wide receiver too. But even if Landry's active, I think you can still use Callaway as a wide receiver 3, especially now that Gordon is gone. So I think he's an okay play for you. If he's available in your league, pick him up, and you can put him in a good matchup. I will say, though, for Mr. Taylor, I think he's kind of a sit this week, only because the matchup to me I think is a little tough. The Jets secondary is very strong. Yeah, it is beast, and could be being down potentially 2 weapons with Gordon gone, and if Landry's out, that could be a little bit worrisome because aside from Callaway and Njoku, there really isn't a whole lot for Taylor to work with. I'm gonna keep rolling that, man. I think we got to keep that going. It's just too funny. So he's been the beneficiary of so far exploitable matchups, taking on Pittsburgh, taking on the Saints, not exactly world beater defenses. So the Jets are going to be the toughest defense, a risky QB2 at best. I'm going to say sit Darnold, because, again, tough matchup. Maybe that shine kind of after that first week wore off after 1 week, or because of the fact they were playing Detroit, who apparently is really bad. Again, yeah, poor Matt Patricia.
I don't feel sorry.
You really can't, can you?
No.
Hey, you wanted to leave New England to be a head coach? Okay, but apparently you inherited a very poor team. So, yeah, Darnold's faced bad defense and a good defense.
Well, I don't think he inherited a bad team. It's just, I think.
Maybe they haven't caught on to his philosophy.
No, I think.
Okay. How do you see it?
I think he sucks as a coach.
Okay.
Look at who he was under.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, but the Patriots have to cheat to win usually.
Yeah.
And when you have a coach in Bill Belichick that is like
Belichick.
Yeah, but he is so unfeeling. That man hardly ever smiles. I think I've only seen him smile twice.
Only a few times. Yes, yeah.
And maybe it's just Belichick's intensity, but you would think if it was just intensity,
I don't think he even smiled when we watched the Hall of Fame ceremony.
No, you'd think if it was just intensity, it'd rub off on his long list of doomed coaching plays.
Right.
NFL Network, I think last week was running, the question on Sports Nation or something.
Right.
I forget what.
Or Good Morning Football.
Good Morning Football.
Yeah.
They asked the question and they debated the question. The panel says, do you think Belichick will produce a successful disciple? And they showed every coach now that has had influences
that has been on his staff that now has a head coaching job. Yeah.
That now has a head coaching job, and they all suck.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I don't know exactly how much you can blame
and that's why we said maybe it was good for Josh McDaniels to not become the Colts coach.
Yeah.
Maybe. It was good he backed out.
So, I don't know how much of that you can blame on the system
or the line.
How much you can just blame on them wanting to carry him over.
Right.
Okay. Belichick's system, and they said this last week, Belichick's system works in New England. It doesn't work anywhere else because anywhere else is not New England. So,
and do remember, he was in Cleveland beforehand, and I don't think it worked even very well in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, obviously, because Cleveland hasn't done anything, so, it works in New England. The thing about Cleveland, though, this year, their defense is improved. They held the Saints in check. Darnold to me is playable, but not like fully startable unless you're like in a 2-quarterback league or deeper. If you have to play one, play Talor, but Darnold more of a low end 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah.
And again, I only mentioned Jarvis Landry as a sit only because only if he is out. List his question with that knee injury. If he plays, start him as normally would because he is their main receiving weapon now.
Well, with the knee injury and the knee bothering him, though, I wonder how much that.
How's he going to be effective? Yeah, that's true.
Even if he does play.
Yeah.
As history would have it, when you come back from an injury, you're not the same.
You're not right away, depending on the severity of it.
Yeah.
If it's a sprain, okay, that might be not as bad as say a torn ACL, like Deshaun Watson or Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, look at Edgerrin James. He was beast until he tore his knee.
Yeah.
And then he was still good.
Yeah,
Edgerrin
but not
James was still
not
good,
as explosive,
not as elite, and not as
he was. As he was. Yeah, I agree.
Injuries. So you got to think. And another thing is players that are injured, they want to protect themselves.
Of course.
And, lengthen their career. So are they going to take as many risks? Are they going to take as many chances?
Right.
Is he going to go after that ball as fast as he would have with the reckless abandon as he would have before the knee injury? Or is he going to scale it back and say, ooh, I better not do that?
Right.
So
I think the word was that he was limited in practice today. I think he did practice, but he was limited. Okay. So just monitor that before Thursday night. Check the inactives report before Thursday night. See if he's on there. So just be aware of that before the game tomorrow night.
Yes.
Sunday games now. Good one to kick off the 1 o'clock slate right here. New Orleans at Atlanta. 2 AFC South teams that just don't play like each other. I mean, when these two rivals get together, you expect fireworks, you expect offensive firepower, no matter where they play, whether in New Orleans or Atlanta, both indoor locations. So,
lucky.
Lucky? In what way?
Indoor locations.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You got the Superdome with New Orleans. You got and what's funny is they're both named after Mercedes-Benz. Isn't that kind of hilarious? Atlanta's got Mercedes-Benz Stadium. New Orleans is Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Have the same sponsor. That's interesting. And Drew Brees and Matt Ryan, 2 of the better quarterbacks in this league, plenty of talent around them. This will likely be the cha-ching, the fantasy jackpot game of the week. One of a few, but this will be the main one.
CEO of Mercedes-Benz sitting in the dark room saying,
yeah, I like this.
I've got 2 stadiums.
I got 2 stadiums.
I wonder if I can have a third.
Yeah. We were just talking earlier about how naming rights change on stadiums all the time. We were watching the Jacksonville New England rerun, and I'll remember Jacksonville Stadium as Everbank or Alltel.
Yep.
Now it's like TIAA Bank Field, and it's like that doesn't roll off the tongue as easy, you know.
No,
it's just like no. I always remembered as Everbank. So, but the Saints Atlanta, you're going to start a lot of your guys in this game. From a Saints perspective, you know the main weapons. Breeze, obviously, duh. Alvin Kamara at running back, duh. You know, and even when Mark Ingram returns in week 5, there's still going to be that 1-2 combination. So, but Kamara is playable regardless. Michael Thomas for the Saints, one of our guys, he has been absolutely killing it the first 2 weeks of the season. He has the most receptions ever over the first 2 games, 28 catches on 30 targets. That is absolutely freakish.
Anybody?
Yes, anybody. No, anybody.
Dang.
Yeah. So
come on.
So his pick for us has truly paid off this year.
Yeah.
And Ted Ginn also especially again more so in PPR leagues because he's the deep threat for Drew Brees, but I think you could still play him in that role.
Uh-huh.
For the Falcons, of course, Matt Ryan is a duh. Especially in this matchup. Julio Jones, as long as he plays, he was limited in practice today with a calf issue. So monitor that leading up throughout the week. Keep that in mind.
He can never stay healthy.
Either
it's Ryan hurt.
Jones
is okay, or
it's vice versa. Yeah. Jones, there's always something nagging with him. He was hurt multiple times when we had him last year. Yeah, he was hurt multiple times. So, yeah, he can never make it through a full 16-game season. So, he's their main weapon. Just keep that in mind. Tevin Coleman, and I think that's regardless of whether or not Devontae Freeman plays. As long as Coleman, even whether Freeman's healthy or not, again, that's kind of their 1-2 combo. But if Freeman is out again, Tevin Coleman is a must-start, obviously, and then Austin Hooper, a very valuable tight end for Matt Ryan in this offense. But I'm going to give you another Falcon name to start, especially if Freeman is out. Ito Smith. PPR more so, but as long as Freeman remains out and Coleman is your workhorse running back, then Smith takes on the role of this dual threat third down back. So, again, more of an RB3 or a flex, but he is starting to get more touches when Freeman is out. So as long as that remains the case, Smith is a decent play for you. The sits, of course, Freeman, of course, there's no new news on his injury. We still haven't heard whether or not what his status is for the week. So for now, I didn't get an alert today on his status at all. So so for now, you want to assume that he's not going to be available on Sunday, but just monitor throughout the week what's going on, and that decision may not come right up until game time. So just monitor the inactives report, see what's going on with that. And then the other Falcon receivers, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, a little worried about both of them because Jones is kind of a target hog. He gets a lot of the targets from Matt Ryan, and until some of that ceases, these two really aren't really fantasy relevant enough to get quality, starting consistency. They're more risky wide receiver 3 or 4s because of the fact they just don't get enough targets. So if I had to pick one, I'd rather pick Ridley because of his speed, and that potentially he might find the end zone fluky, but just too much of a risk for my liking. Green Bay at Washington. I got the alert before the show. Aaron Rodgers says his knee might be a concern. And that's worrisome. Even though it's just a sprained knee, he's going to power through it. He's got a big old bulky knee brace on it. But his mobility really did look limited last week. However, as long as he can throw the ball fine, that's what matters most. So as long as that's not giving him too many fits, I think the Packers offense is going to be fine and dandy. I think they're going to be fine. And the running game also gets a boost this week. Aaron Jones returns from his 2-game suspension. But it still remains to be seen, if he's going to get the lead role right away, or if Jamal Williams is still going to be a part, or if Ty Montgomery is still going to be a part. It's kind of a muddied mess. So we'll see what happens there. Washington, on the other hand, did not have a great week last week. The Colts defense looked like studs because they mostly, for the most part, shut down Washington's offense so bad that the fans which oh, by the way, only had like 50,000 in attendance. There were a lot of empty seats in Washington. And they were booing at halftime. Booing their own team at halftime. Mm-hmm. That's pretty sad. Pretty bad. So that offense really needs to find its rhythm again after that disappointing showing. Yes, they did. They won 21-9.
Yes.
Yeah. So kind of a tale of 2 weeks. Washington beats Arizona 24-6 week 1 and then falls back to earth and loses 21-9 in week 2. Makes you wonder. So the obvious starts, for the Packers, the weapons. Aaron Rodgers, of course, as long as he's healthy, as long as that knee's not an issue, as long as he can throw the ball, he's in your lineup. Devontae Adams, his top receiving threat, is a given for sure. Geronimo Allison is also coming along nicely, and we got him for bench depth on our team. And he's starting to do a lot more work with his targets than Randall Cobb is. Randall Cobb is hit or miss, boom or bust on a week-by-week basis. He might get one long touchdown and then do nothing the following week. He's too inconsistent. Allison is doing more with his targets. So I like him more so in PPR, but still could be a decent wide receiver 3 or 4. And then Jimmy Graham, of course, always one of the top tight ends in the league. You keep going with him. For Washington, Adrian Peterson, he's the bulk of the offense right now. He's doing the majority of the work. He still looks good. And he's getting, a lot of attention. So I think you keep going with him. Chris Thompson also, their dual threat back, is getting a lot of work in the receiving game, especially, again, in PPR is a great play for you. So keep going with him and Jordan Reed at tight end. Those two are 1-2 right now in receiving for Washington, getting in terms of targets, Thompson and Reed. So you want to keep rolling out those guys as they are making good work of those target opportunities. There's really no one else of note to start here. Everyone else I have listed here is sits. Alex Smith, only because of the fact that I mentioned that a running back and a tight end are leading your receiving core. Your actual receivers are doing nothing. And that's sad. And I understand Alex Smith is what he is. He's a dink and dunk passer. He's not really a fan of the long ball. But for gosh sakes, you can't be inspired how little he's utilizing his core. But yes, he's targeting them, and that's all well and good, yay. But he's not doing enough with them. As tough as it is to sit him, the Packers secondary presents a lot of challenges, especially with a certain ha-ha back there. And I'm referring to Clinton Dix. Yep. So it presents more challenges than the Colts. For me, Smith is only a middling QB2. If there are better options, take them. Too much of a risk for my liking.
And I feel sorry for Smith if he continues just to be a dink and dunk one Clay Matthews.
Yeah, exactly. And
got a penalty for driving.
Yeah, Clay Matthews got screwed last week. Packers got screwed last week on that. They should not have tied Minnesota because of that stupid penalty.
But then again, if he would have just if he would have just hit the guy and not hooked him on his arm, maybe they wouldn't have.
Maybe that's how they've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Yeah. Still.
But then we saw the Jaguars defense today do the same thing to Brady. No call.
No flag. Yeah. And then it was clear that he leveled Brady into the ground.
I honestly think that the NFL does it on purpose. The NFL is running scared because people expose some things on YouTube. We're probably going to get in trouble for this, but I've watched videos on YouTube how the NFL purposely misses calls to make it more dramatic.
And there are so many rules that can be questionably interpreted. Oh yeah, that one, the new catch rule,
which is.
Okay, basically, they simplified the catch rule. We know last year we had a lot of things where is it a catch, is it not a catch, that kind of thing.
Well, I say as long as they maintain possession to the ground, it's a catch.
Well, there was some loose interpretation, but this year it's simplified. Catch, 2 hands on the ball, football move, going to the ground, and there's no more of this completing the process nonsense. As long as that was the big thing. You have to complete the process. Well, as long as you make a catch, 2 hands, football move, going to the ground, you're fine. So yeah, that's now a catch. The helmet rule. What is targeting and what isn't?
That's going to be loose.
Yeah, that is, and it was a big question mark in the preseason when they were throwing tons of flags and getting players either 15-yard penalty or ejected. And we have seen a few this year where players have been ejected and deservedly so.
Oh yeah, and like you call it when even the side of your helmet hits the other player's face mask.
Yes, but they have to discern what's a 15-yard penalty and what's an ejectionable hit. Now, like for example, when we watched the Colts-Browns game week 1, Sean Williams, the hit to Luck when Luck was scrambling, clearly ejectable.
Yeah,
clearly. Yes. Oh yeah, led with the head. Oh yeah, clearly.
Whoa.
Yeah. So.
And then today when we were watching, I think it was Jags New England. They had a 15-yarder,
but it wasn't ejected
because it was the side of the helmet connected with the face mask.
Yes.
It wasn't the crown of the helmet.
Correct.
A spear.
Correct.
Or nothing like that.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
It's just debatable.
And y'all are lucky I'm not a head coach, because if you get ejected like that, you get suspended for the next game.
Right.
You lead with the head like that? Okay.
Right.
The refs eject you, then I don't play you.
Right. And I think that's the NCAA rule is if you get ejected for targeting, you are suspended the next game. It's either the next game or a half of the next game. So
half schmaff. I'd say, okay, the NCAA says half a game. Well, I say the other half.
Right. Yeah.
Sit on the bench.
Right.
And if we travel, don't even bother showing up.
Right.
You're on baby house arrest.
Right. So, but yeah, so there's a lot of rules that are middling, but going back to Smith, same with his receiving core. Again, right now there is no elite number 1 in this receiving core. Last week I think I made a stupid statement. I may have misspoke when I said that Dallas has the thinnest receiving core in the NFL. No, that distinction is now taken away. The crown has now been moved on. Dilly, Washington, you now have the thinnest, junkiest receiving core in the NFL because your quarterback is not utilizing you. At least Dak Prescott throws to his receivers.
Surprising, though, that then Arizona still has the worst defense. Or
the worst offense. Arizona's the worst offense. But they have Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay. If you're running back... what is it? You're running back and tight end?
Yeah, Thompson and Reed.
If you're running back and tight end are the bulk of your receiving core, how then do you not have the worst offense?
Exactly.
And you have no wide receivers that do anything.
You have one guy, Jamison Crowder, who's normally a short route threat, and you have 2 deep ball guys in Josh Doxson and Paul Richardson, who you acquired from Seattle. And they've done nothing over the first 2 weeks. We had Crowder, and he has scored a total of 5 fantasy points through 2 weeks. 5.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. You gone. None of those guys should be on fantasy rosters at all until somebody on that group makes a big impact. Somebody, as Mike Tomlin once said, has to make a splash.
Yeah.
Splash. Same thing with the Packers running backs. But again, only because we need to see which one is going to emerge. Until we see how Aaron Jones is going to be utilized back in this offense, don't play him right away. Him and Jamal Williams right now, risky RB2 or flex plays at best. Montgomery now is more relegated to the RB3 or the flex role with Jones coming back. So very, very risky there. And again, I mentioned Randall Cobb. Don't trust him consistently. 2 boomer bust. I prefer Allison. Risky wide receiver 3.
He's getting older too.
He is. He's getting up there. He's been in the league a good while. He has. So Allison's younger, fresher, better option. Revenge game here. Colts at Eagles. It's not only a revenge and welcome back game for Frank Reich, going up now against his former team, but it is also a welcome back game for Carson Wentz. He was cleared for contact, and now he is back. And so Andrew Luck and company are going to have to be on top of their game in this one to keep up with Philly's offense. So, and not only did the Eagles get Carson Wentz back, but they re-signed a former receiver of theirs, Jordan Matthews. They got him back as well because they just lost Mike Wallace for the season, broken fibula. So he is done for the year. So now we'll see what this offense can do now with Wentz back under center and now with Matthews in the fold. A couple guys, though, that you can start here in this game, though. For the Colts, obviously, Andrew Luck is a given. As long as he's, again, full health, no repercussions at all, you keep rolling with him. Same with T.Y. Hilton, obviously, top receiving option there for the Colts. And Eric Ebron, I never would have thought that Eric Ebron would now have emerged as the top tight end in this offense, but he has taken Jack Doyle's job. He is the one that's found the end zone the past 2 weeks, not Doyle. So he has scored in back-to-back weeks. So Ebron's now the one you want to start. Doyle now gets relegated. He's down. He's off our team too. So, because he's like I said, he became invisible man. Where am I? Where am I on the field? I don't know. Oh, there's Eric Ebron. I'll throw to him, So.
And then what if the Colts running backs who Irsay says, oh, they're going to rush for.
No. He said Marlon Mack was going to run for 1,500 yards. I'll get to him. He's further down on the sit list, of course, with all the Colts running backs, but I'll talk about that.
Okay.
He's a little bit further down, but good thing you brought that up. Starts, though, Carson Wentz. I mean, you might be hesitant to put him back in his first game back. Don't be. I say it's a plus matchup at home going against this rough defense. Even though they played well against Washington last week, that was Washington. Washington is not Philly. Totally different offense.
Oh.
So Wentz, to me, a low-end QB1. Even though the receiving core is not at full strength, still got plenty of weapons. Wentz will be fine. And I never thought I'd put this name in the start list. Nelson Aguilar. I never thought yeah. I wondered what reaction that was going to get out of you. This is great. Your face just says it all.
Wow.
I never thought I'd see the day, but apparently he doesn't suck anymore. And now that Wallace is out, he is going to have to be the number one target. Also, Alshon Jeffrey might still be out with that shoulder issue. So if that's the case, Aguilar is the default number one. So he has to take on this role. This is like overwhelming to you.
Good luck, Philly.
So to me, a wide receiver 3 for the moment, but if Wentz develops a good rapport with him, we could be talking borderline wide receiver 2? Maybe? You're not on board, obviously.
I hate
you obviously are not. You still think he sucks. Okay.
I don't know. I'm
on the hype train. Apparently, you're not.
Well, I haven't got to see what he does.
Right.
Yet, but still, he sucked for the last 2 years.
He did. But someone's got to get the targets. It can't be just the running backs. It can't be just Corey Clement and Wendell Smallwood.
All right, you're my last option. Here you go.
Yeah, right. Take advantage. All right. As for the sits, for now, Matthews, it is nice to see J-Math back on the Eagles roster, but kind of take a wait-and-see approach. Don't throw him in right away. He knows the team. He knows this offense. He knows the system. But you want to see him get that rapport with Wentz right away. Got to comfortable with the offense. So wait on him. Scout him. Scout him. Tell all about him. But for now, until he becomes relevant, kind of take a wait-and-see approach on him. Jay Ajayi, big one here. Day-to-day with a back injury, but that's from Doug Peterson. There's a lot of mixed reviews on his status because before Peterson said that, I think it was the offensive coordinator said he probably won't play this week. But now Peterson's saying day-to-day. So he did not practice today. So that's very telling. So you'll want to monitor that throughout the weeks. Very, very closely monitor his status because if he doesn't play, then obviously Corey Clement becomes the bulk of the workload, and because Darren Sproles could also be out this week, so monitor that. And then if Ajayi's out, Clement gets the workload and could be a very nice RB2 play for you. So keep that in mind. I mentioned Alshon Jeffrey, limited practice still with that shoulder issue. If he plays, I think, he's going to be the main target. You put him back in, but for now, with what we've been hearing, you'd have to think he'd be out another week. Just keep that in mind. Okay, you brought it up. I'll mention it. The Colts running backs. This is a mess. It is still a mess. You know how I feel. Now, granted, there have been moments. Jordan Wilkins has done okay filling in for Marlon Mack with his hamstring issue, and Hines has had some good moments, and Michael. But this is a mess. I'm sorry, Jimmy Irsay. I think I'm going to keep my hair. Marlon Mack is not rushing for 1,500 yards. He has 34 yards through the first 2 weeks of the season. In order to make that mark, he would have to have 105 yards each game the rest of the season just to get that. Do you really think that's going to happen?
Every game.
Every game, he has to have 105 yards. Every game. Not a chance in you-know-where. It ain't double hockey sticks.
Not a chance in heck.
No. So
no. Not a chance.
I hate to say it, but I don't think I'm going to get to shave my hair. So I don't think it's going to happen.
I wouldn't trust me to shave your hair.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
So yeah.
And then I mentioned Jack Doyle. Lost his job. Ebron's found the end zone back-to-back. To me, Doyle doesn't need to be in.
Jack.
Doyle. Jack Doyle.
Jack.
Doyle. I fumbled week 1 and cost my team the game. Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. That really happened. Well, I can understand now why Luck doesn't want to throw to you.
Go back home to your wife and fumble her.
Oh! One-sided game next on the slate. Buffalo at Minnesota.
Eek.
Yeah, there's really not much you can say here, folks. Start your Vikings, okay? Yes, okay. Josh Allen, yes. He is a better quarterback than Nathan Peterman. He did throw for like 245 yards last week. Yay. But he's only slightly better. At least he doesn't throw interceptions like Peterman does, but not by much. The Bills have zero playmakers outside of LaShawn McCoy. And McCoy now not only is dealing with a slight fracture to his ribs, ouch, which he says he's going to play through, by the way, but he might be landing in more hot water because of this off-the-field stuff with this domestic violence now lawsuit stuff. So I told you the alert today.
Yes.
So,
or did you?
No, I did. Did I? I thought I told you about that.
You told me that he was under heat a couple days ago, but I don't know if you told me any.
I thought I gave you the alert on this. Did you just drop your phone?
Oh, yes.
Down goes phone. Where did it go? Oh, my gosh, dude. What? Oh, right by my foot. Okay.
Ow. How did it bounce all the way over there?
Apparently, my floor is bouncy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let's see. If I can find the McCoy. It's probably under notifications. Yeah, here we go. It's down here a ways. Okay, and then again, maybe it's not.
Well, what do you remember?
What I remember is, McCoy, of course, I remember his statement that he posted on Instagram saying that the allegations were completely false, unbased, all that, because he cares about his son,
Okay, yeah, you did.
Yeah, so, I shared that much.
I just forgot that.
It's like, and then it's like, I think the friend of the girlfriend or someone like that filed the lawsuit because she defends her in this case because there's a photo of the bruise apparently that was inflicted. So, yeah, so that's what the lawsuit is about now.
Okay,
so the amazing thing is McCoy, because, I don't know, McCoy has not been suspended yet under the player conduct policy, so I guess that's the positive for Buffalo. But I don't know. We'll see what comes of this, but it's tricky. Really it boils down to this. You're not starting any Bills, period. You're not starting any.
I love how you have the obvious stars
Bills.
The Bills.
None. There are none, okay? The Bills are the worst team in the NFL, period. End of statement. They will probably get the first draft pick in 2019. Unless it's Arizona.
Yet they have a better offense.
They have more points than Arizona. Yeah, so it's probably going to be them. It's going to be them in Arizona. Yeah, it's going to be them in Arizona battling for the worst. But Buffalo could be worse. Vikings, you're starting your guys. Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Dalvin Cook at running back as long as he plays. He is still dealing with a bit of a hamstring issue. As long as he plays, you start him. Stephon Diggs, who has been killing it for us the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Had 2 touchdowns last week. And the 2-point conversion. Killing it. Adam Thielen, right along with him. Kyle Rudolph at tight end. So, again, you sit all Bills skill players. You heard me right. I said all of them. No one has value right now. Nobody.
Well, that's only your opinion. I'm sure some.
Oh, I know. I'm sure someone will say, oh, what about Kelvin Benjamin? What about Kelvin Benjamin?
I'm sure some deputies.
What about Charles Clay?
Who?
They're tight end. Yeah.
I say that sarcastically.
Yeah, I know.
All this.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. They have a rookie quarterback, okay? It's terrible. They're terrible. No, don't do it. Don't do it. If you start a Buffalo Bills player in fantasy, you're going to end up in a full-body winging of gas, drinking through a straw.
Watch ATSD
on Friday to get the reference.
Yes. It's going to be a bad time.
It'll be a wild one. It involves this pony.
Yes. Who is the Buffalo Bills quarterback?
Josh Allen.
And he's a rookie.
He's a rookie out of Wyoming. Yeah. But at least he's not Nathan Peterman that throws countless interceptions. Another kind of one-sided game, though. Oakland at Miami. Yeah. John Gruden, I'm so sorry for you. For Oakland. The schedule has done you no favors at the start of the season over the first 2 weeks. Having to play. I think they played the Rams opening week, and then they played Denver last week.
Yeah.
Yikes.
At the Rams and at Denver.
Yes, yeah. And with the AFC West tougher from top to bottom, it's not going to get easy.
Is Oakland ever going to get a home game?
No, they will, but
for the first 3 weeks, they're away.
Yeah, I know, right?
In a row. First 3 weeks in a row, they're away.
Crazy. Or wait, no, they were home in week 1 against the Rams. They were home because Gruden was back in the black hole.
Okay, yeah.
They were home week 1, but
yes.
But they still lost to the Rams against the Rams.
Okay, sorry.
But still, tougher schedule. The division's tough. Not going to get any easier. He has to figure out a way to get this offense going because the talent is there in Oakland. It's not the players. I think it's just matchup. It's But now he faced another tough defense in Miami. Shut down Sam Darnold and the Jets last week. So they've been impressive. And the offense has been strong. So this will be a challenge. The only Raider I can think of right now that you can probably start is Marshawn Lynch on the ground. He's been the workhorse. He looks still very strong. So I think you keep going with him. But he's really the only Raider that you can trust at this point. For Miami, though, you've got a couple of good options. Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. It's great to see him back healthy. He has looked very, very solid over the first couple weeks. Kenyon Drake at running back. My goodness, still picking up where he left off last year. And our opponent this week has Kenyon Drake on his bench. I don't know why.
Well, hopefully he doesn't watch FFSR.
Right.
That's just cluing him into, I better.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't. But one of our guys, Kenny Stills, has been outstanding. You can keep going with him as well, the main target there. And Danny Amendola, more so again in PPR, getting a couple targets as well from Tannehill here and there, but still usable in PPR. I think Sarah just texted me.
Hey?
Yes. Can you ask Nate if he's coming home from food or if I'm eating it by myself? So are you coming home for dinner or do you want her to eat on her own?
When are we eating? And what are we eating? We're in the middle of the show.
Yeah, right.
I want to eat with her, but I don't know when the show's going to be.
Let's see.
All right, folks.
To know. Yeah, wife problems. When you want to
and I think as an offense, we could have done a better job for our defense.
Okay. So
why doesn't she just come over here?
Right. So that's the key guys for Miami. No, there's no other starts and notes for the sits. I mentioned Derek Carr. With the offense struggling right now, and the Miami secondary very strong, especially with Minkah Fitzpatrick, the rookie back there. Derek Carr right now not really a strong fantasy option. And because of that, the Raiders receivers, right now with that offense struggling, I don't think you really trust these guys with Amari Cooper, Jordy Nelson, just struggling all around. And that also includes Jared Cook at tight end. Sarah said, I don't care, but soon.
She says,
I asked her,
when are we going to eat?
I asked her, I said, he wants to know when you want to eat. She said, I don't care, but soon. So. Okay, the other sins I mentioned, Frank Gore.
I'll be back. Just catch me up.
Sure, of course.
Wife. Happy wife.
Yeah.
Happy wife.
Right.
Mad wife.
Not so good.
My head.
Yeah, right.
I lose my neck.
You're gonna be in a full body. No, just count him. I'll dink that thing to death now.
I'll be back.
All right. Frank Gore. I'm still seeing some GMs that are playing Frank Gore, including our opponent last week. I'm thinking, what are you doing playing Frank Gore? It's a joke. Unless Kenyon Drake is getting hurt, then Gore has hardly any fantasy value. So he belongs on mostly benches or waivers at this point. You cannot trust Frank Gore at this point. And then also Devontae Parker. And even if he comes back this week, even if he returns from the broken finger on his hand, you just can't trust him. He's mostly been a fantasy disappointment anyway. And he even said last week that, I would have been, I was actually a healthy scratch last week. I could have played. So it was frustrating to him that he wasn't getting time because, you think about it, Stills, Amendola, Wilson, Gesicki at tight end, they've got plenty of weapons. I don't know if there's really many space for Devontae Parker anymore because he's been such a disappointment. So, you really can't trust him right now. He has been mostly a disappointment. All right. Moving on to Denver and Baltimore. This actually will be a really interesting matchup. I mean, it's tough from a Baltimore perspective because maybe Denver, the question now is, are the Broncos for real? Denver looks like a very strong team here. Case Keenum looks comfortable in this offense. Philip Lindsay, he has come out of nowhere. The undrafted player from Colorado, go Buffs. He has actually taken on the kind of the lead back role here, not Royce Freeman, who we all thought was going to take the lead role. And he looks like now the unquestioned Broncos stud at running back. And the receivers, of course, continue to impress. Now, their defense is going to have a bit of a challenge because this Ravens offense with Joe Flacco and company has some more threats there and is looking very strong. Had a great week against Cincinnati last week on Thursday night. And they're starting to look better every single week. So prepare accordingly for this game. This could be a very interesting one as well. So my obvious starts here for the Broncos here, I mentioned Philip Lindsay. I think it's kind of like what the coach Vance Joseph said. You have to go with the hot hand right now. And it's not that Royce Freeman is not fantasy relevant. He still is. He has a role there in the offense. But Lindsay right now has had 100 weeks. Yeah, he's had 100 weeks of playing time. No. He's had 100 yards or more from scrimmage in back-to-back weeks, which I think he's like the first rookie to do that either ever or in a long time. So very impressive. I think you keep going with him as long as they keep utilizing his role in the offense. And again, I'll say the same for the receivers, Emmanuel Sanders and Amarius Thomas, their top two targets there. Case Keenum is already developing a nice rapport with these guys, and I think you continue that with them moving forward. For the Ravens, I like their receiving duo, John Brown and Michael Crabtree. Now, granted, even though Denver's secondary is technically still very strong, it's not, of course, as strong as it once was because Aqib Talib is no longer there. Aqib Talib. I try saying that very fast. So even though it's still a strong unit, but Joe Flacco has developed a nice rapport with these two guys that he did not have on this team last year. So and John Brown especially is a guy that I think if he's available in your league, if he's on waivers, pick him up because he has had 14 targets over the last 2 weeks, and he's been very, very solid in this offense. So we were trying to get him in our league ourselves. We missed out. We got beat out for him to strengthen our receiving core. But great, very impressive to see what John Brown's done in this offense. And he's staying healthy for once. That's a great thing to see, too. That sickle cell problem had been plaguing him in Arizona for years. So it's nice to see that John Brown is finally healthy and being rewarded for his hard work here in it. So I think he might have found a great home here in Baltimore. So great for John Brown. Pick him up if he's out there. Get him in your lineups this week. Solid start here. And Michael Crabtree, again, very, very strong, nice rapport with Joe Flacco. Again, I don't expect either guys to have like a breakout week this week. One may find the end zone. You may not know who. But I think both are going to get enough targets, do a lot with them in the offense to put up respectable fantasy numbers. So I think both guys are good starts here. But I'm also going to say Case Keenum, yes. Case Keenum is a guy you can definitely start as a QB2 with upside, especially if you're in a 2-quarterback league. I think Case Keenum, or even if you play daily fantasy, Case Keenum is a very solid play. The Ravens defense last week was absolutely destroyed by Andy Dalton and the Bengals. You realize in the first quarter, A.J. Green had 3 touchdowns from Andy Dalton. That is absolutely ridiculous. The Ravens defense in fantasy, CBS Sports, had 0 points last week. Nothing, a goose egg. So their secondary clearly can be exploited, and Case Keenum will take advantage of that. He's fitted nicely with the offense. He's getting these weapons involved. Definite sleeper appeal. QB2 with upside. Play him if you can get him in your lineup. And I mentioned Royce Freeman. Don't panic yet. Clearly Lindsey has become the hot hand, the best back right now in Denver right now. But Freeman is still going to get work. He's not invisible man like Doyle in this offense. He hasn't become that yet. He's still going to be probably the change of pace, the third down back if Lindsey's going to get the majority of the work or vice versa. Freeman's still going to get work. So still we're starting RB2 or flex play. Lindsey obviously is the guy to start right now, but Freeman will still get a lot of work in this offense. As for the sits, I'm going to say, and we're doing this in our league ourselves because of this tough matchup. You might have started him last week against Cincinnati because the matchup was fine and they were playing on Thursday night. But this week I'm going to say sit Joe Flacco. And I know that's tough for some of you because of the way that Flacco has been so resurgent of late. But I don't like this matchup. He's looked better with the stronger receiving core, but this secondary and this pass rush just scares me from Denver. It really worries me. To me, Flacco is more of a risky QB2 or 3. So if you have a better option, like with us, we have Jimmy Garoppolo with a better matchup against Kansas City. If you have a better option, play them over Flacco. But if not, be prepared to not have a great week from Flacco, I feel. I don't see a big week like he had in the 20s last week. I don't see that this week against Denver. He might get in the lower to mid teens, but I don't see a big week from Joe Flacco this week. So he is not a must start this week. Same with Alex Collins. And as tough as it is to sit him, you might not have the option to sit Alex Collins. And that's okay is the case. But the Broncos rank 11th against the run. So that is really it's not one of the better matchups. So it doesn't really bode well for fantasy success. And the problem is Collins is also losing, and we were worried about this, a lot of goal line work to Buck Allen, even though, Kenneth Dixon now is out with the knee issue. So now Allen's taking a lot of the goal line work from Collins. So that's kind of a worry. So right now, a risky RB2 right now for Collins, more of an RB3 though for this tough matchup. I would say if you can sit him like what we're doing this week, Otherwise, you just kind of maybe take the risk and see what happens with him. So aside from that, that's that one. And you're back.
Yep.
Did you get the dinner situation resolved? Okay, good.
He says, you could have just texted me. I text Chris because you usually have your phone chilling on the charger and you never get to it.
No, well, no, you had it right here on you right now, except one point was on the floor.
Okay.
No, I was talking about Denver, Baltimore. I've gone through it all, but anything you want to, share about Denver and Baltimore,
Okay.
what you've seen from any of the guys. I basically
Flacco, as usual, has been great.
Flacco has been great, but I basically said how I don't like the matchup, with that Denver secondary. And then same with Collins.
Although it is at Baltimore.
It is at Baltimore, but still, I Denver plays well regardless of where they're at. So, so that's why. And then same with Collins, but again, the Broncos being 11th against the run. That's why, to sit him as well. And I also really hyped up Denver of how well they've looked at 2-0. I think they're a surprising 2-0 to start the year. They're kind of becoming maybe, are they for real? Are they going to be legit? I think this game will really, show if they are legit or not with Keenum doing well. And the receivers and getting
finally Keenum's at a place where he does well.
Not that he was doing bad in Minnesota. He didn't, but he also had a very good receiving core in Minnesota. He had a better receiving core, I think, there than Denver, but he's getting Sanders and Thomas involved. And
Texans, he was
the Texans was kind of forgotten.
I believe a couple years ago it was Case Keenum, you suck.
He did suck. For a long time he did suck. But thankfully he's landing in situations where he has better talent around him and he can take advantage of that. So I think he's landing in a good spot in Denver. I think he's going to be paying off. So, and then I mentioned the running back situation with Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. Lindsay's the back to own right now, but Freeman's still going to get his touches, and he's still an RB2. But Lindsay's the hot hand right now. I mentioned why Keenum's a good start because remember the Ravens defense had a big old goose egg last week.
Yeah.
Remember Dalton had 3 touchdown passes to AJ Green in the first quarter against the Ravens defense. So they can be exploited. So that's basically what I talked about there. So you're caught up now.
Maybe started Cincinnati and Carolina.
No. Okay. We'll start that right now. Yeah. Cincinnati and Carolina. This also, I think, is going to be a strong test for Cincinnati. Cincinnati is also a surprising 2-0 start. I don't think anyone would have expected Cincinnati to be 2-0 out of the box, but this is a real test for them going to Carolina, tough environment, and they're going to be prepared to be without Joe Mixon. You'll not have Joe Mixon for a few weeks. He's getting his knee scoped. Arthroscopic surgery, so you're not going to have him. But Giovanni Bernard now will step in, going to handle that workload. He's been more than capable of showing that in the past. Okay. And AJ Green, again, the 3 touchdowns last week in the first quarter, mind you, continues to thrive in this offense.
And who was that against?
Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, they just could not stop AJ Green. But going on the road against Cam Newton and company, this is going to be a true test. We'll really see, I think, this week if the Bengals are the real deal and a contender in the AFC. For the Bengals, of course, the top name is no surprise, AJ Green. You keep rolling with him. You don't even think about benching him. After that 3 touchdown week, you keep going with him. And Tyler Boyd, also, I'll mention him. He's kind of taken over the second wide receiver role. He's kind of leapfrogged John Ross and now is the second wideout. And he's gotten a lot of good work. So, holy cow. I'm an idiot.
What?
I left a name off of here.
Who?
Too much now. Who did I leave off? Think of the other Bengals weapon that I left off the list. The other Tyler.
Eifert?
Tyler Eifert. How did I leave him off the list? I don't know how I totally misspaced over Tyler Eifert, but I did. No, you start Tyler Eifert. He's one of the better tight ends in the league. As long as he's healthy, you start Tyler Eifert. How did I forget him? As for the Panthers, Cam Newton, duh. I mean, that's a given. Cam Newton with his dual threat ability, you start him, duh. Christian McCaffrey, yes, the workhorse running back, also gets involved in the passing game. You keep going with him as well. And Devin Funchess, their top wide receiver as well. But again, we mentioned Giovanni Bernard, and we got him off waivers today. and we are going to start him this week. You know, with Mixon out, he takes on the workload. He has shown he's more than capable of handling that workload.
Who's he starting over?
Collins.
Okay.
Matchup.
Yeah.
So, the Kansas City Pittsburgh replay, aka the shootout.
And what was the result of that one?
42-37 Kansas City.
Okay.
That was a gunslinging shootout between Mahomes and Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes had 6 touchdowns. Big Ben, I think, had 3 or 4. So,
okay.
And might be a little tough because Carolina's defensive front is very stout, but Bernard's going to get work in the backfield and in the passing game, I think, to make up the shortcomings. To me, solid RB2 with the upside this week. I will say, though, to sit Dalton. Again, a little weary about the matchup. That defense does pose a lot of problems.
Larry, you mean?
Larry. Did I say weary?
Yes.
Okay, Larry.
Done.
Yeah. Oh, I had a bad one while you were gone. I said, when I was talking about Philip Lindsay, I said, okay, I was going to say he had back-to-back weeks of 100 yards or more. I said he had 100 weeks. Yes, he's been in the NFL for 100 weeks. He's only a rookie.
Wow.
Yeah, I said 100 weeks. I'm not kidding. So, whoop-de-doo.
He's had 100 weeks of back-to-back
yards.
yards.
No, he's 100 yards in back-to-back weeks. What I meant to say. To me, Dalton more of a QB2 this week as a result.
100 weeks in back-to-back yards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, easy for me to say.
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't freaking new. Yeah, right. Exactly. Now we are on to the game of the WEAK. And unfortunately, it involves the Houston Texans. I can't believe they're 0-2, honestly, because the talent is so good. I don't know how they're an 0-2 team, but now they get the 0-2 Giants, who are not that much better, especially with their offensive line. You know, that offensive line would be the worst in the league. You know, Eli Manning keeps ending up on his back with the face up in the sky going, why am I on my back again?
And yet you still say Arizona has the worst offense.
They have the worst offense in terms of points scored, okay?
Yeah.
In terms of points scored, they're the worst.
I'm going to be running that one, too.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like you're doing the My Little Pony.
Yeah, exactly. With this was Spitfire's line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Tarad Talor.
Yeah.
We got a lot of memes now coming here.
Yeah.
But, so Eli Manning ends up on his back, that look on his face, and Saquon Barkley can't find holes on the ground to break through because of that, but at least he's also being a receiving threat. He caught 14 balls last week, Barkley. Now, granted, he only did 80 yards with them, but he still ended up in double digits in fantasy. He had 10 fantasy points. So at least he's being utilized in the passing game when he can't get going on the ground.
And we're starting him.
Yes. He's getting work. He's still getting work. No need to panic on Saquon Barkley just yet. The front and secondary of the Texans, they are strong with Watt and Merciless and Clowney. They're going to pose some problems, and Watson's going to get back on track. We'll see what happens here. But for the Giants, you're still starting a lot of their weapons. You're starting Saquon Barkley. You're starting Odell Beckham. That's obvious. Duh. He's the main receiving weapon there. You're starting him. Sterling Shepard, I will say, though, more so in PPR leagues because you get a lot of those. When he gets his targets, he doesn't get much yardage out of them, but he gets a lot of receptions, so you can use him there. And Evan Ingram, the tight end, as long as he plays, is a little bit of an ankle issue, but as long as he goes, you keep going with him as well. For the Texans, Deshaun Watson, he's going to get back on track. He's not going to suck most this year. Deshaun Watson is too talented, too good to stink all year. So he's going to be fine. You keep going with him. Same with Lamar Miller, running back, leading the backfield. And same with their two main receiving threats in DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. It was great to see Will Fuller back last week after the hamstring issue. Nice to see him back in the lineup. I think he had a touchdown last week. So great to see him back as well. but you're sitting Eli Manning. That's really the only sit I can think of. You're sitting Eli against that strong Texans defense. The opportunity to be there to possibly sack him. He was sacked 6 times by the Cowboys last week. That might happen again this week with that Texans front and that pass rush. So, and Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary, big risk. So, would not go with Eli.
Weird way to spell Matthew.
That's how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Spells his name.
Yeah. Mathieu. Yeah. Hello, Van. I'd like to buy a vowel. The only vowel it doesn't have is an O. But yeah, every vowel but an O. So yeah, very interesting way to spell, but it is pronounced like Matthew, like the way Matthew is normally spelled.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not going to play Eli. Another AFC South divisional game this week with Tennessee going to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville finally got the proverbial monkey off their back.
You left another name off.
Did I?
Yes, Cole.
Oh gosh, I did. No, I don't. Right there. Huh? No, I didn't. Your thumb's covering it up, you dippy.
Oh, yes.
Your thumb was covering it up.
Okay.
Sorry. Left off Keelan Cole. You really?
No.
No, it's right there under your thumb.
Yeah. There's my blooper, folks. There you go.
There you go. We're now even. Well, we're 2-1 in terms of bloopers this episode. Yeah.
Leaving out Tyler Eifert and then.
Yeah. Then 100 weeks. 100 weeks.
Back yard.
Yeah, 100 weeks, and then you think I left off Keelan Cole. Yep, there's Tyreek Hill. One of Mahomes' many. That's Conley. Not well-known weapon, but one of Mahomes' weapons. Yeah, second catch of the season, and he caught a touchdown last week. Patrick Mahomes is just so good. Look at that focus.
You know who that reminds me of?
What, his focus?
Yes.
Who?
Elway.
Very much. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
How his eyes just got huge.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And just that eagle eye focus, like I'm coming to you, and he throws a laser.
Yeah, Mahomes is the real deal.
Yes.
So Jacksonville got the monkey off their back, beat New England in the regular season. Finally, took them long enough.
Did not beat New England. I say smashed New England. The score
doesn't reflect it at 31-20. Yeah, it doesn't reflect it. But they were up like what? Weren't they up like 21-3 at half?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, yeah.
And what did they do? They got in Brady's face.
Yeah, the defense pressured him. And Keelan Cole had the catch of the year.
Yeah.
Doing an Odell Beckham impersonation.
No, Odell Beckham wasn't even that good.
Really?
Yeah. Odell
Beckham.
Odell Beckham was just a reach up over the shoulder. They were saying he had to contort his body and twist. Like that was a reach over the shoulder and a twist.
Well, the body movements might be different, but the catch itself was similar. Like on the fingertips, like those fingers at the end of the ball.
Yeah.
That looked similar. But then Cole had to pull it into his body as he's going down. That was the hard part.
Yeah.
Having to go down like that and pull it toward your body.
Had to twist half of his body to get it.
Yeah.
Had to reach backwards, twist your body, then
and then like roll forward.
Align yourself again, then pull it.
Yeah. That was crazy. It was absolutely nasty. So the Jags now look poised to be now the proverbial favorite in the AFC with that win. They look huge. Oh, it's your text. I was just asking about food. Now the only question mark with Jacksonville, Leonard Fournette's status still up in the air. That hamstring still a bit of a question mark for the week. But I will say this: TJ Yeldon, Corey Grant, they filled in pretty darn nicely in his absence. They won that game without Leonard Fournette. That's saying a lot about Jacksonville's depth. And they filled in nicely. From a Titans perspective, though, it may not matter who suits up for them this week at quarterback, whether it's Marcus Mariota or Blaine Gabbert. That Jaguars defense could really make the day a nightmare for either guy. I cannot explain how the Texans lost to Blaine Gabbert. I cannot explain it. I don't know what to say. Like he said, there are no words. I have no words. I don't know how they lost to Blaine Gabbert. The Titans quarterback. The Texans lost to Blaine Gabbert. Mario didn't even play. Remember, with the elbow injury, he didn't play. They lost to Blaine Gabbert. How is that possible?
Everybody, I don't know, because everybody can be Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine freaking Gabbert, exactly. it's like, I don't know how. But the Jaguars this week, I think, are going to make his thing. Exactly.
Close up in your living room, folks.
Yeah, 3D. Here we come.
Yeah.
Make put on your 3D glasses,
You should wear those the rest of this.
No. When I put these on, I become the mob guy. My guy Ryan Fitzpatrick. My guy Ryan Fitzmagic in Tampa Bay. You see that guy? Have you seen how good Fitz has been lately? He's been the guy. I mean, Jameis who? I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is anymore. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the guy. He's hooking up. He's making Deshaun Jackson relevant again. Are you kidding me how that is? Deshaun Jackson's like, how old he is? He's 236. I don't know how he's making him relevant, but he is. Fitzmagic. 4 touchdown passes in back-to-back weeks. It was nice that he did it in the opener, against a not very good team, but then he did it against Philly. He did it against Philly when nobody thought he would replicate it. That's absolutely nuts. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's the man. He's the guy. You got to keep going with him. I don't think Jameis is even going to get his job back. I don't think that's going to happen. It's off the field stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. No, it ain't going to happen. Ryan's the guy. You keep rolling with him in fantasy. Mob guy said so.
Mob guy?
Mob guy. That's my mob guy role. He pops up every once in a while.
Have you done that before?
I have done that before, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I have done that before. He loves Ryan Fitzpatrick, obviously. He's a very big Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's probably president of Ryan Fitzpatrick's fan club, honestly.
Mob guy.
Mob guy. So with the 3D, went off on that, and he made an appearance with that tangent. So back to Titans Jaguars.
You don't do a bad one either.
No, thank you.
What's that, New York.
It's more of a Boston accent, I think. More of a Boston accent, yes.
Yeah.
So we will talk about Tampa Bay later in the Monday night game, but back to Titans Jaguars. Titans obvious starts. Let's see. Oh, that's right. None.
Yeah.
Against the Jaguars, come on now. Get that weak sauce out of there. For the Jags, though, you can play a lot of their weapons. Blake Bortles, obviously. You keep going with him. Very solid player for you. Very solid start. Keep going with him. Leonard Fournette, as long as he plays. If he remains out with the hamstring, then obviously you get TJ Yeldon in your lineup in standard leagues. Now, if Fournette is active, you can still play Yeldon in PPR because he'll take on that third down role. But if Fournette is out, then you play Yeldon in standard leagues as a strong RB1 or 2. Corey Grant is only relevant if Fournette is out. He only gets the third down work if Fournette doesn't play because then he's the complement to Yeldon. So Grant would then be a strong PPR play as long as Fournette is out. Keelan Cole, obviously, after what he did last week, yeah. He is now the main guy in Jacksonville. You keep rolling with him. And D.D. Westbrook, I will say as well, more so in PPR leagues, but he had a touchdown last week as well, so you keep rolling with him as well. There's no other starts really to note here. Dante Moncrief, I will say you can sit. He's kind of become like this third wheel in the offense. He doesn't get a lot of targets like Cole or Westbrook do. He occasionally will, but not very often. To me, more of a risky wide receiver 3, more touchdown dependent. And the Titans skill players. Regardless of who starts, I would not trust these guys. Yeah.
Don't
trust anyone. Don't trust anyone. That's right. DTA. I like that. DTA. Don't trust anyone against that stout Jacksonville defense. That's the running backs, Derrick Henry, Deion Lewis, the wide receivers, Rashard Matthews. No, I still don't like Corey Davis. No. And even Jonnu Smith at tight end. No, I don't trust those guys. So not in that matchup on the road in Jacksonville. Speaking of Kansas City, woo, woo, woo. Shootout alert. Shootout alert. I repeat, we have another shootout alert. San Francisco and Kansas City this week.
Hopefully it will be because we're starting Garoppolo.
I think it's going to be because on one side you got Patrick Mahomes tearing apart NFL secondaries. 10, count them, 10 touchdown passes in the first 2 weeks. That is the most by any quarterback in the first 2 games. I mean, that is crazy. It is insane how good Patrick Mahomes has been.
What year is he?
He's a second year, but this is his first year starting. Here he is hooking up with Travis Kelce. There you go. Just again, that focus, that spiral. Just a laser, like frozen rope. Just boom, right there. He's got one of the most talented offensive core in the NFL. Pick your poison. Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, the aforementioned Travis Kelce. You can't stop all of them. They're going to make plays. But the bugaboo, the problem is Kansas City's defense. They are ranked against the pass dead last, 32nd in the NFL. They gave up 44 points to Ben Roethlisberger last week. This is going to be, hopefully, a shootout game. It has all the makings of it.
And who won this?
Kansas City did win this game. Ben Roethlisberger put up 44 fantasy points. No.
Oh,
Kansas City won 42-37. Ben Roethlisberger had 44 fantasy points and lost.
Yeah.
That does not happen very often. When your quarterback can put up 44 fantasy points and the team that he plays for still loses.
Yeah.
So it's crazy what kind of game that was. Obvious starts. Niners. Matt Breida. Clearly right now the better running back in that offense. He's clearly the preferred play over Alfred Morris. He's getting the bulk of the work, getting the bulk of the touches. You keep rolling with him moving forward. Dante Pettis right now is their top wide receiving option. With Marquise Goodwin out, Pierre Garçon kind of in the fold, kind of not. What?
You wouldn't call Jimmy Garoppolo an obvious start against Kansas City?
Ranked as he's ranked as high as he is. Here's the thing. Here's what separates an obvious from just a normal start.
Oh.
If an obvious start is if they've been consistent all season long.
Yeah.
Garoppolo, I don't know if it would be called an obvious QB1 all season. Because remember what happened in week 1 against Minnesota? Did nothing. He only had 10 points.
Yes.
An obvious start is a set it and forget it.
Yeah.
So, he hasn't been that all season.
Yeah.
That's what separates the obvious starts from the regular starts. So, he's a start this week based on the matchup, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But he's not an obvious in terms of, QB1 every single week.
No, okay. Yeah.
So, that's the difference.
Right. Okay.
So, but, Pettis, I think, is for sure. And George Kittle, he's our tight end. Even though he had I know he had a bad week last week with only 2 fantasy points. But
one more week.
Yeah, but he needs to take advantage of this matchup. He has to. This is, I think, is going to be a better week. So, still holding out hope that George Kittle is going to do okay. For the Chiefs, I just mentioned them. The 5-headed weapon. Mahomes, Hunt, Hill, Watkins, Kelce. These are now set it and forget it guys. These guys have to be in your lineups. As long as Kansas City stays red hot, they do not leave your lineup. It's just crazy how good they all are.
Mm-hmm.
But so you mentioned Jimmy G. Yes, he is a start for this matchup. He's going to have to throw to keep up with Mahomes in that Chiefs offense. But the Chiefs secondary, again, dead last, 32nd, worst in the NFL. Borderline QB1 appeal.
Right?
Against the pass, yes, dead last. So, got to start him this week.
So that's why it's a shootout, because both sucky pass defenses.
Yes.
Although Kansas City's a little bit worse.
Yes, than San Francisco, yes. Yeah. And I mentioned Garçon. Here's hoping that this is the week he breaks out. He hasn't really taken advantage of the fact that Marquise Goodwin has been out. So here's to hoping that this is the week he takes advantage of that. Okay. Now, Pettis has been the main recipient, but Garçon is somewhat getting involved still. For me, a wide receiver 3, but the upside is certainly there if he could take advantage of this game. The only sit I recommend, of course, is Alfred Morris. He is being outplayed by Breida in the offense. Even though he's somewhat involved in the passing game, he really doesn't do a lot with those touches. To me, he's more of a what-the-heck flex play. And again, our opponent last week started Morris and didn't do much. So, I mentioned that in the Miami game, too, when he started Frank Gore. I'm like, what are you doing starting Frank Gore? Like, what are you doing starting Frank Gore? Kenyon Drake is the main back in Miami.
Right.
Unless Drake gets hurt, Gord is not going to have a primary role. So just crazy that our opponent did that last week. That's the 1 o'clock games. Now moving on to the afternoon, evening slates and Monday. 4:05 on Sunday.
Games at 1 o'clock this week. Holy cow!
There usually is. 1 o'clock is always the biggest slate. Yes. 4:05 Sunday. The battle for LA. Chargers at the Rams. But this might feel a bit one-sided because of how good the Rams have played. But don't tell that to Phillip Rivers and the Chargers.
Don't they play at the same place, or do the Chargers?
Not yet. No. They
Okay.
will eventually in 2020.
So where do the Chargers play? I know the Rams
Chargers play at
Coliseum.
StubHub Center, the Galaxy's home stadium, the soccer team.
Yeah. Okay.
They play at StubHub. Yeah.
Okay.
Granted, the smallest capacity in the NFL, capacity 29,000.
They ain't gonna be hosting no Super Bowl.
No, not at the StubHub Center anyway. No. Rivers is going to have to ball out with his receiving core against one of the stronger defenses, stronger secondaries in the league. We saw on Mic'd Up when Wade Phillips got that game ball last week for the defense for the Rams.
Yeah.
Hey, I like donuts. Get Wade Phillips a donut.
Defense as a whole.
Game ball.
Just
Yep.
toss the game ball across the
If
line.
your team can't score, they can't win. Well, you held the Cardinals to nothing, so good on you.
Hopefully the Chicago Bears there can have a
Similar week, exactly. Yeah. We have not talked about Chicago yet.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be coming up here.
Okay.
But yeah, they got to ball out against one of the stronger defensive secondaries. Look for guys like Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, and the Williams duo of Tyrell and Mike Williams to be heavily involved. The Rams now, you realize, this is an interesting stat. I don't know if I told you this. The Rams are now the Vegas favorites to win the Super Bowl.
What?
They are now the favorites at 5-1. Yes, they are now the Vegas favorites. Yeah, isn't that crazy? They are now the favorites. But it's not just that defense because they have plenty of playmakers on
Rams
offense.
will go for the NFC
Yes.
or the AFC?
NFC. Rams are NFC.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mamas, cover your kids' ears. I'll call that bullshit.
Why?
Bears. I'm still high on the Bears.
Even with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback?
Defense.
Okay. I think balanced teams win Super Bowls there, dude.
Although I will say this.
I mean, that defense can do a lot. but
I will say this. I would like to see kick ass, okay, as it is.
You want to see New England and Chicago?
No.
I thought you said you wanted to see New England and
Well, yeah,
Chicago.
I do want to
Okay.
see as this at the Super Bowl, but
Okay.
I would not mind seeing an NFC Championship game against the Rams and
With
the Bears.
Yeah, that would be entertaining. Yes.
If that does happen, although I will favor the Bears because of their defense.
Yeah.
Two, as you like to say it, stout defenses. Who's better?
Right. That is a
Okay.
battle of two good defenses.
The Bears and the Rams are probably going to be battling for number one
Oh,
in
absolutely.
the conference.
Absolutely.
Who's better?
Right.
It's just like I'm a fan of WWE, right? You know this.
Yes.
It's like these tag teams that are so good together, but in the back of each person's mind, they think, am I better than him or is he better than me? So a lot of times that leads to a feud between the tag team.
Right.
Who's better? Who's holding who back?
Right.
I think we'll see that if the Bears defense and if the Rams defense can stay like on the heels of each other.
Yes.
Who's better?
Right.
I would so love to see New England and Chicago, although I will change.
Okay.
And this will tear my heart.
Jacksonville and Chicago. Yep.
Beating New England?
Yeah.
I think they can.
I think Jacksonville is the AFC favorite now, by the way. Yes.
So where are their odds?
I think they're second now behind the Rams, I want to say.
Okay.
So I think they're now second.
So it could be It could be.
I think it's right now. I think it's Rams, Jacksonville.
It could be Jacksonville.
New England, I think, is third, and then Kansas City.
It could be Jacksonville Rams.
Yep.
It could be Jacksonville Bears.
Yep.
It could be Jacksonville. It could be
Jacksonville Rams.
It could be New England.
New England and Chicago. Yep.
So there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Scenarios.
There's a lot.
But
it'd be nice to see Kansas City there, but again, their defense, I think, is going to hold them back because of how poor it is.
And like I say, and I preach this,
I'm hoping though that Trubisky does not hold the Bears back of how I wouldn't say bad, but how rough he is and how raw he is.
Well, consider this though: you've had to play Green Bay,
true,
and you
Seattle.
had to play Seattle,
true.
Even though they're not the Legion and Boom anymore,
no.
Even though they're not the elite defense they once were,
right?
I still say Seattle is good.
Right.
Okay.
But now you get an easy matchup this week in Arizona. You really want to take advantage of.
Oh, well, hopefully it's going to be easy.
Yes. Yeah.
Worst offense, probably one of the worst defenses.
Right.
Come on, Tribby.
Right. So going back to the Rams, though, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, they're the anchors of the offense. They continue to play well. They're going to lead him here. So obvious starts, Chargers, Melvin Gordon, as long as he plays. There was a report that he's dealing with an upper body injury, so he is a bit questionable, so monitor that. But as long as he plays, you play Melvin Gordon. Keenan Allen, their top receiving option.
I've always liked Keenan Allen.
Yes, as long as he can stay healthy. He's had some injury issues over the years, too, with the knees.
Yeah.
But as long as he's healthy, you play him.
Yeah.
And Tyrell Williams also more so in PPR, but he's had a couple touchdowns back-to-back weeks. You keep going with him as well. Rams, I just mentioned him. Goff, Gurley, Cooks, and Cooper Kupp, who's also a very strong second receiver. You keep rolling out those guys as well.
I like all of them.
Yeah.
I like all of them.
Yes. They've been so impressive.
Yes.
But I'll also mention the other Charger running back, Austin Eckler. And I mentioned his name last week too, but I'm telling you, he's no longer just a PPR guy. He's dangerous in the receiver role, but he's also getting work on the ground. And if Gordon doesn't go, I think he becomes a must start for you. For now, RB2 flex, but the upside's definitely there for more. So,
and you mentioned Eckler in your intro.
I did. Yep. So, look for him to be involved. Sits, I will say sit Phillip Rivers only because the matchup is tough. Only if you have better options, though. The Rams secondary with Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters is elite. It's one of the more elite units in the league.
Lord knows Talib has been a thorn in our side.
Yes.
When he played the Colts.
Yes. Yes. So
our opponents have had him in the past.
So even with all the weapons that Rivers has, pass on him this week. And then same with Robert Woods. Woods to me, more of a wide receiver 3 or flex, maybe more in PPR leagues. Again, he's kind of become that third wheel in the offense. Never good for fantasy purposes.
Right.
4:25 on Sunday. Dallas at Seattle. Two teams that have kind of taken a step back offensively. They meet here at CenturyLink this week. And the Seahawks, after this 0-2 start, they may need the rallying cries of the 12th man because they need to overcome this slow start.
Come on, Seattle. Get it, man.
Yeah, I hate seeing Seattle struggle. I do. It's tough. I expect them to struggle a little bit this year to regress, but not like this. Because I knew the Rams were going to be obviously good. I knew San Francisco was going to be good, but not like this.
When you have a totally the AFC is just so tough as a whole conference, not just the division.
What do you mean the NFC?
NFC, sorry.
Yeah, wrong conference.
NFC.
Yes.
The NFC is so tough.
It is from top to bottom. Yeah.
With the Rams, with the Bears.
Yeah. With Green Bay, Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's in the NFC South with Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans. Yeah. Tampa Bay now is legit. I mean, that whole division. I mean, it's tough. Because they're struggling without Doug Baldwin, who's still out with that knee issue. So they got someone needs to emerge this running back group. Someone has to.
AFC South?
No, I did say NFC South.
Okay.
I did say NFC South. I'm pretty sure I did. There's so many mouths to feed in this backfield. It's a muddy mess. Someone's got to emerge between Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, CJ Prosise. That's too many mouths to feed. They all have different roles throughout the game. No, pick one. Pick one and stick with it. It's frustrating. Now, the Cowboys are starting to look a bit better, especially on the defensive side of things. They look good against the Giants last week, even though it was the Giants, but they look better. Zeke Elliott, though, cannot be the only engine that steers the ship. You know, they've got to make things go.
Right.
You know, the receivers, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, Michael Gallup, they've got to become threats in this offense. They need to boost the core a bit. So only a couple starts and sits here in this one. This is kind of a weaker game. Cowboys, the only one you can trust now is Zeke Elliott. I mean, he's really the only one.
Second game of
EAK, exactly. Yeah, a little rough. Because, again, until one of these receivers steps up and becomes a consistent threat, you can't really trust them. So Elliott's the only one you can rely on. For the Seahawks, you still start Russell Wilson. Again, his dual threat ability is still strong. He's still, especially at home. The Seahawks play better at home than on the road anyway. So you go with that. And Tyler Lockett, who has done a nice job as the number one receiver, filling in for Doug Baldwin. Had a couple nice catches on Monday night, so you keep going with him. I will also mention Brandon Marshall. You remember Brandon Marshall when he was in Denver and made such an impact? And with the Giants? Well, he's now in Seattle, and let me tell you, he's doing some nice things. You know, Lockett's emerged as the one, but Marshall's done a lot with his targets, had a couple catches as well on Monday night. To me, I think you can play him as a solid wide receiver 3. Very solid going forward. I'm going to say, though, sit Dak Prescott, obviously, because that receiving core is still a little bit leery of him. His receivers starting to look a little better, but not quite there yet. And against the Seattle defense on the road, not fond of that matchup. More of a risky QB2 this week. All right, let's talk about Chicago. Let's talk about them in Arizona. Probably the best defense against the worst offense.
As you said, couldn't be juicier.
Yeah.
I bet Chicago's.
Khalil Mack.
I bet Chicago's doing one of these.
They're sticking that deep dish pizza in their mouth and like, that's what we're going to do to Arizona. Or no. Oh, wait. No, you got to eat with a fork. Like, Yeah, that's true. We know that going from Winnie City. You have to eat dish pizza with a fork in Chicago. You have to. You have to. It's kind of like a requirement. You have to.
Because it falls off.
It falls off, exactly.
It falls off.
Every time you go to Lou Malnati's, you have to eat with a fork. But Khalil Mack may have single-handedly turned this unit into a must-start every single week. Like, single-handedly. He's got a nice supporting cast, though.
You ever go to Schaumburg, make Lou Malnati's at least one
Yes. Every time. Every year we go to Winnie City.
It's like freaking.
It's become a tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This guy likes pizza, and he likes the Illinois pizza.
Yes.
And Schaumburg's a suburb of Chicago. So you're going to have your deep dish.
Yes.
And like a couple years ago, our first Winnie City PonyCon, which if you watch your ATSD,
yep, you know all
made
about
reference to it. Yeah, we were just looking. Yeah.
That poster on the wall.
Well, that was
this year's. That was this year's.
But he likes pizza and I like pasta, so we were all just looking for a place to go quick, easy, and we were looking for pizza places on Google.
Yes.
And the top option, I think, was the top option that wasn't your Pizza Hut. Wasn't your normal chain restaurants. Was
Lou Malnati's.
And it looked so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, this year, I'm sorry, but I got to make reference to this. This year, we went, and I got the fettuccine Alfredo spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
My God, they should serve that with a pitchfork.
Right.
It's so freaking deep. This bowl was this freaking deep.
Right.
It's like, God, I'm wanting to feed myself, not my whole family.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So.
And Leo's, I believe, is who catered this sponsor dinner.
Yes.
Leo something.
Yeah. No, Giordano's. That's the other one. That's the other one. Yep. That's the other one.
Our first year, it was a tie between Lou Malnati's and Giordano's.
Yep.
This year, we sponsored the PonyCon, so we got the sponsor dinner.
Yeah, well worth it.
Well, yeah, I think every tier sponsors.
Yes,
got the dinner.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Earth was a
Yes, Earth was part of it. Yes. Yep.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, Giordano sponsored that. Yeah, catered that. Yep. And then this year we added Portillo's to our tradition.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Chocolate cake shake. Thank you, Gabriel Iglesias, for that one.
Yeah. Got to go to Portillo's.
I'll go to Portillo's just for the chocolate cake shake.
Right.
And hopefully I won't pass. Hopefully I won't almost pass out next year.
My fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
I know.
My fault for not doing better con time management. Yeah.
And my fault for not knowing that it was going to be so stinking busy, not remembering last year,
Yes.
and having the protein shakes with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can kind of almost have both to blame. And
although you and Sarah ripped me a new one, but it was well deserved.
Yeah. Well, I think she ripped you more of a new one because I almost ended up in the hospital.
Yes. Yeah. But it was deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to do better.
But
we'll do better.
But the next day we had like 2 packs of 8 protein shakes each or whatever. And
wasn't it weird that then the night of after that happened, I had that dream?
Yeah.
That was the night of. And then the next morning I'm telling you about this dream I had.
Yeah, I'm sure you've.
I've mentioned it on ATSD. Yes, I have. Yeah.
I'd have to sit in on an ATSD. I watch them.
Yeah, I know you watch them. I
may not be on camera.
Right.
I know ATSD is yours, and I don't want to take over the whole channel.
No, you're fine. No.
Yeah,
I appreciate your insight. You know that.
Maybe make a guest appearance or 2, or if it's not. Part of the reason I moved right next door is so I could do more with his channel. I really don't have that much of an interesting life. I don't feel like it's that interesting because I'm not into the stats and stuff and sports like he is.
But you will be on your channel when you get your Budsies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, either mine or yours, either one. But we will definitely be doing a video because Budsies requested it.
Probably yours.
And I'll be talking about that on ATSD on Friday, too.
And I will say it now, I will probably want to sit in on that ATSD.
Yes, of course.
Sarah, I don't know, man.
Right.
You might have to sneak a couple pictures of her. She hates being on camera.
I know.
But she was during the reveal video that you bought her.
Yes. Yeah. She didn't seem to mind that as much.
Did she know you were recording that?
I don't think she was fully aware.
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't. I didn't think she was until I was moving the phone around. I think that's when she realized that I was recording it.
And she didn't say nothing.
She didn't say nothing either. No, she actually kept that low key, which I guess I appreciate.
You're recording me.
Surprise, yeah. But I loved how she said both of them.
Yeah,
I loved how she said that.
I just watched the video this morning before I came over here because. If be watching for this. If the tentative date is right, 21 days.
October 10th. Yep, October 10th.
I'm counting down days now.
Yes,
21 days, and here we go.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So back to Chicago. But again, a supporting cast: Roquan Smith, the rookie out of Georgia, Danny Trevathan in the middle of that line, and Prince Amukamara, who had the 49-yard touchdown interception last week that not only sealed the win for Chicago, but sealed the win for us.
All right, Amukamara. I'm looking for 2 or 3 pick sixes this week.
Right, exactly. Like Nate and I are watching that on Monday night, and we just freak out when we see that. We're screaming. Yeah, like it was just it was chaos in this house.
Fist bumps.
Yes.
I thought he was going to tackle me.
Yes, it was chaos.
He probably thought I was going to tackle
him. Yeah, it was pure chaos and pure joy.
Yeah.
So. But they can be flashy. So this matchup with the worst offense and the Cardinals, remember, 6 points through 2 weeks. 6. Couldn't be juicier. And you would hope, again, the Bears' offense would look better with Trubisky. But Allen Robinson is looking strong. Trey Burton is looking like a legit weapon at tight end. I've said it enough. I'm going to say it again. Sam Bradford is not the answer at Arizona. And Steve Wilks, you are a moron. I said it that way for a reason. You're a moron because you're still starting Sam Bradford. That's stupid. You draft Josh Rosen to be Moran. Instead of a moron, he's a Moran.
What is that?
It's a funny way of saying moron. Because you drafted Josh Rosen in the first round of the NFL draft at number 9 overall to be, hopefully, I would think to be the guy. But no, you rely on an old Sam Bradford who's injury prone, and your offense has scored 6 points in 2 weeks. And now he says, oh, we're still going to start him. Stupid.
You will lose every game until you start your guy. Why do you even draft a quarterback if you're going to do that?
Exactly.
He can't suck more. He can't suck any more than Sam Bradford. Hello.
Yeah, Darnold is starting right away. Allen is starting now.
Right.
But Mayfield could start, but Taylor's playing so well for Cleveland. So you draft Allen at 9. Why not start him? Mahomes is tearing it up, even though he wasn't drafted this year, but still.
It's his rookie year as far as start.
Yes, correct. It's like, why do you not make him the guy? I don't understand. You're making your skill players worse. You're making David Johnson worse. You're making Larry Fitzgerald worse.
And I wonder what they see in
Bradford.
That they don't see in this guy.
I know. And Rosen was so talented coming out of UCLA, I applauded the draft pick. I was thrilled when the Cardinals drafted him.
Can't pick up the phone for nothing.
No.
Well, now they did.
I was ecstatic when the Cardinals drafted him, thinking, okay, let's go. He's going to be the guy. And no.
I mean, does he have off the field issues? Does he have,
no, not that I'm aware of.
Does he have something that they're not letting us be privy to?
I don't know.
You're 0-2.
You're 0-2.
Why not?
Why not give him a shot against the best defense in the league, or one of the best? Why not? Yeah. What do you have to lose? Unless you're wanting a high draft pick.
Maybe they're wanting a lower defense to get his feet wet, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Do you want to go winless? Are you trying to tank?
Right. When you are making your legendary wide receiver even look worse, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bears, your obvious starts. Allen Robinson, top weapon now in the offense. You go with him.
Yeah.
Jordan Howard at running back. Yes, obviously. Tariq Cohen getting involved in the passing game out of the backfield. Yes. Trey Burton at tight end.
More in PPR.
More in PPR. Yeah, more so in PPR, but still a solid play.
Yeah.
Trey Burton at tight end, obviously. And, of course, Bears DST, duh. I mean, that's like the sell the kids, sell the house, lock, stock, barrel of the week. It's that's like the obvious of the obvious. The only
22
last week, 16 in the opening week, averaging 19 points a game.
I wish we would have had them in week
at the start.
Yes.
Yeah, we got them off waivers.
Weren't the Bears DST available in our draft, or did somebody draft them?
No, I don't even remember them being drafted.
Why didn't we?
I have no idea looking back now, but did they wait, when did they acquire Mac? Did they acquire him in the offseason? Or was it around preseason? I think it was around preseason. It wasn't before,
I think we drafted even before the preseason, didn't we?
And we drafted the Packers. That was a mistake looking back. We got the Bears and the Texans off waivers. They're going to be two solid units the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think we'll have to change the Bears very much, probably. The only Cardinal I can even consider is David Johnson, because he's going to get the bulk of the work at running back. He's going to work the ground game. That's really the only one that can be considered.
Yeah.
I will say, though, Trubisky in this matchup is a start. I will say he hasn't looked great, but plus
it's
matchup,
Arizona.
It's Arizona.
They're going to make him look good.
Exactly. Yeah. The secondary's been put through the ringer the first 2 weeks. High end QB2, but upside is there for more. And another name I'll mention here, Anthony Miller, a second wide receiver. He's emerged as number 2 threat now behind Robinson. He had some good catches last week, taking advantage of those targets. I think now he has wide receiver 3 value. So in light of the fact that the Cardinals don't have brains, I think you have to sit Larry Fitzgerald. I hate saying that, but not only is he struggling, he has a hamstring issue, and that hurts receivers. And he's going up against this defense. For me, a risky wide receiver 3 at best. Sam Bradford is holding him back. And again, Sam Bradford. Steve Wilkes, would it kill you? Would it just kill you to start Josh Rosen? Would it just kill you? Unless you're tanking on the season, stop for starting Sam Bradford.
You're really pissed.
I am. Arizona just wants to suck, apparently. And I hate seeing that because I like Arizona.
I do too. Wonder how Warner thinks about that.
Oh.
As a quarterback.
As a former Cardinal quarterback and a legend, a Hall of Famer, I mean, good grief.
You ain't going to have no Hall of Famers coming.
Not on this roster,
No
except for
more
Fitzgerald.
No. Yeah, maybe.
But not anyone else. All right, finally, last two games, the Sunday Nighter and the Monday Nighter. Starting with the Sunday Nighter, New England at Detroit.
Yuck.
Good luck, Matt Patricia. That's all I got to say on this one. Not only is the Lions' new boss facing his former team in prime time on Sunday night at home.
Belichick is going to want to kill you.
Patriots are angry after losing to Jacksonville. I bet they're angry.
He's hungry.
He's a hungry boy. He needs his Snickers.
He's hungry. Yeah.
You know the Pat's going to come out firing. You know this. Especially with their new toy, Josh Gordon, as part of this receiving core.
If he can keep his nose clean in New England.
Yes, as long as he doesn't fall back into that. Yes. There's a lot of weapons now, and this Lions secondary might not be able to handle all that. So, and Stafford might have to go nuts just to keep up, as long as he doesn't throw balls to the other team. Like he did in week 1. Patriots obvious starts. Tom Brady, duh. Rob Gronkowski, duh. James White, Sony Michel, the running backs. You can use these two. Again, more so in PPR because they get a lot of targets out of the backfield, but they both look pretty strong. They're the main back options there, so I think you can go with those guys and be okay. For the Lions, the only two I can think of starting are their top receivers, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. Those two guys, they get a lot of targets in the offense from Stafford. As long as he's on point, you can still go with those guys. No one else of note to start. I will say, though, Stafford I still worry about. Until he can actually be consistently throwing passes to his own guys and not the other team, no thanks. Plus, the Patriots secondary is always strong. Always poses a challenge. Kenny Golladay, to me, too much of a risk. He's the third wheel in this talented receiving core. Against that strong secondary, no thanks. More of a risky wide receiver 3 or 4.
I'm sorry. What was the final score for Pittsburgh?
42-37.
So they score 37 points in the second half?
Well, they scored a touchdown there.
Because right now
I know they were down 21-0, I know. But they made it a game late. So, Lions running backs. Kerryon Johnson, yes, he's the best of the bunch, but risky RB3. I wouldn't trust LeGarrette Blount right now, and Theoretic's only a PPR guy, so no. Rex Burkhead, it's becoming evident that he's become the third wheel in this backfield. He's not getting the targets he used to. With Michelle now healthy, his role has been reduced. So, to me, nothing right now more than an RB4 or a flex because of that reduced role. And the wide receivers. This now is going to become kind of a muddy mess. With Gordon now being added, there's no telling who the Patriots are going to lean to on a weekly basis. Is it going to be Hogan? Is it going to be Dorsett? Is it going to be Gordon? Is it going to be Gronk? It's a mismatch of, I wonder. I wonder who's going to get the bulk of the targets. At this point, you really need to treat everyone as more of a risky wide receiver 3.
And Edelman coming back.
Edelman is coming back in week 5.
Edelman's coming back. Okay.
So
that's going to be even more of a
exactly. I think in the end, I think Edelman and Gordon are going to be the main target hogs along with Gronk.
Okay.
So that means Hogan's role will be reduced or Seth's role will be reduced. So that's the way I see the chart going forward. So right now, each one comes with a risk. And finally, the Monday Nighter, Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay. Can the legend of Fitz magic continue? Well, obviously, Bob guy thinks so. But it's more than likely because this Steelers defense, we just see it. They got shredded by Mahomes and the Chiefs. And I think there is honestly no way, as long as Fitzpatrick continues playing well, there is no way the Bucs can go back to Jameis Winston. There is no way.
You wouldn't think Arizona would start Sam Bradford so much either. So maybe.
Well, I just don't see it. Especially if Fitz does well this week against this exploitable secondary. He's got amazing rapport with Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson, who's shown that resurgence. The Steelers' weapons, Big Ben, James Conner, Antonio Brown, they're going to have to put a lot of points to make up for the defense. This ought to be a fun game under the lights. This could be another fantasy jackpot potential.
Yeah.
Steelers, starters, Roethlisberger, duh. James Conner, as long as Le'Veon Bell is out, he's a start, duh. Antonio Brown, yes. Don't worry about the drama with him. He wasn't at the team facility Monday. That's only because he was frustrated. Don't worry about that. He's a must start. Same with Juju Smith-Schuster, who's done great things in this offense as well.
Yeah.
For the Bucs, of course, Fitzpatrick and Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, all those are duh. I will mention, though, another receiver. Chris Godwin has come along very nicely recently as well. He's kind of a boomer bust touchdown guy, but in this plus matchup, he might find his way into the end zone. More wide receiver 3 or 4. The sits are only for the Bucs side of things. Peyton Barber, the running back, his value is taking a bit of a hit because this passing offense has done so well. Risky RB2, but the upside's there from the breakout, but not a recommended play this week. And then the tight ends, O.J. Howard and Cameron Bray. Again, those two continue to cancel each other out because they get equal targets. You really don't know which one's going to break out on a week-to-week basis, so they cancel out each other in the end. All right, guys, that is it for the week. That covers all the matchups. So thank you again for tuning in, for the views, subscribing as well. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, as always, hit up the comment box below. Go get that win this week, and we will see you towards the FFSR again next week for the Week 4 preview. ATSD, though, Friday night, 7 o'clock, covering a lot of pony stuff. A couple sports things related at the end, but mostly it will be pony-centric. So tune in on that on Friday night. So for Nate Hettinger, I am Spiky Dash. We'll see you next time on the FFSR. Good night.